Okay, so let's get right into it. Today we're going to be playing the PTCGO Gauntlet again, right? The challenge for us to win 3 games, or for us to win 1 game on the PTCGO ladder. We spin these wheels. These wheels contain some of the worst Pokemon in the game, in the card game. We spin the wheels, we build a deck based on what we get on the wheels. We try to win games. If we lose the first game, we get to spin the buff wheel, which makes our team better. And if we lose the second game, we get to spin it twice. And then the third game is our last chance. If we lose the last game with all 3 of the buffs, we lose the challenge. So let's get right into it. All right, this is the V Pokemon wheel. This is who we'll be building our deck around. There are some really bad Pokemon on here, so hopefully we don't get something too awful. Sizer V? Sizer V isn't awful. It's not great. It's pretty bad. And the thing about this is we can include the VMAX here. And the VMAX is kind of okay. Like, it's not great. And I also only have 1 of them, or I only have 2 of them. So that might be kind of tough. But there is a little bit of conjunction here with Metal Saucer, right? So if we get, maybe on the buff wheel we get Energy Acceleration, we can add Metal Saucer, we can add Bronzong, stuff like that. There's some very good synergy with Steel type or with Metal type right now. Or not right now. There has been since Sword and Shield. But I don't know, that's not awful. We can probably make that work. All right, this here is the draw wheel. We're going to spin this. We're going to spin this twice. These are all draw supporters. They're some of the worst supporters in the game. Like Judge. Judge is pretty awful. Judge lets you shuffle your hand into your deck, draw 4 cards, but it also makes your opponent do the same. So it's a little bit of disruption while also being pretty bad draw support for your own deck. And I just have to get rid of all the cards in our previous deck here. Add Judge real quick. Okay, actually I don't have enough Judges, so we're going to have to respin this. That was a practice spin. We're going to get it again. Forget everything I said about Judge being bad. Judge would have been a great roll, but we don't have Judge, so. Melanie? Dude, we already have Melanie. We've already rolled Melanie, but I guess we'll do it again. That's fine. Melanie, as far as supporters on this list go, Melanie is pretty good because it gets us draw, and it also gets us Energy Acceleration, which are both relatively crucial to success on the Pokemon TCG Standard ladder. All right, we're spinning the wheel again. This is our second and final wheel spin. What we get here will be Single Strike Mustard. All right, well, that's pretty ass. That's pretty bad. There's really no good support Pokemon in Single Strike, right? There's Houndoom, but that's only good if you're running Single Strike as an archetype. So this might be pretty bad. I don't know, maybe we can pair this with Beedrill. Beedrill isn't on any of the wheels. The only rule with what we add post wheel spins, right, to fill out our deck a little bit, is that it can't be something that's already on a wheel. So we might be able to play with the not Persis Sting, the other Beedrill that kills on special energy. All right, this here is the Pokemon search wheel. Pokemon search integral to any standard deck. Stormy Mountains. Stormy Mountains is pretty awful. That's pretty bad. We have literally no synergy going on here. Stormy Mountain lets you search for a lightning Pokemon or a dragon Pokemon, put it onto your bench. It's a stadium. It's not great for our purposes because we don't run either lightning or dragon types so far. All right, the other thing we're going to get, Familiar Bell. Familiar Bell isn't awful. It's really slow, relatively speaking. It lets you get a Pokemon from your discard pile, or it lets you search your deck for something that's already in your discard pile, which isn't awful, right? It's not like a bad effect. The problem is it's just really slow because usually you don't have Pokemon in your discard pile early on in the game. So that's our Pokemon search. Not great. This here is the Pokemon support wheel. So this will give us some support Pokemon. Hopefully, maybe a Bronzong would be great. Ariados. Ariados is not great. Ariados has an ability that it's like when you put it onto... When you play this Pokemon from your hand to evolve one of your Pokemon, you may switch one of your opponent's bench to evolution Pokemon with their active Pokemon. So it's like Gust, right? It's Gust, which is pretty Right, that's not like awful. It just only works for evolution Pokemon, um, which makes it slightly worse than like Houndoom VMAX or something like that. Um, and Inteleon Part 2. Inteleon Part 2 is the second good Inteleon on this list, right? You'll see there's another Inteleon here. Inteleon Part 2 means it's the quick shooting Inteleon, which is less good IMO. And also, yeah, we have this is bad. This is pretty bad. But anyway, those are all the wheel spins we'll do for now. This is what our deck is looking like. We've got Ariados, Sizer V, and VMAX, who does 90 damage and then takes 30 less, which is not great. We got Melanie, and we also have the quick shooting Inteleon, which isn't really good, but you know, it's a good card, but we're not allowed to play it with the right. We can't play it with the Drizzile engine. The Drizzile engine is incredible, right? It lets you search your deck for trainers, right? It's just really good. And then you can get some like, you know, Inteleon. Either you have like the choice between quick shooting Inteleon or shady dealings Inteleon, which can either get you more stuff or do ping damage and stuff like that. But we don't have access to that because it's not. It's too good if we have access to it. So let's fill out our Ariados line a little bit with some Spinnerax. We'll fill out the Inteleons, not with the good. We can do this Sobble, but we'd probably rather do. I actually don't have. Oh, I do have the good one. Okay, all right. Here, we'll do the 70 HP one because the keep calling doesn't really help us since we're not playing Rapid Strike. We can't do the Shady Dealings Drizzile because the Shady Dealings Drizzile is too good. So we're just gonna have to run a. And I also don't have more copies of this, so that's semi-problematic. Maybe we'll run 2-2-2 or something, 3-2-2. I don't know, man. This is not going to be pretty. We have 21 Pokemon. We might just end up cutting the Inteleon line, right? Which we could probably comfortably do, right? We could cut the Inteleon line, grab the Beedrill that we wanted for the Mustard. We can't do this one because this one is on the support Pokemon wheel, but this one isn't. It is Persisting. That was the ability that I was talking about. So we'll just dump the Inteleon line because the Inteleon is good in other contexts, but it's not good here. We'll do 2 Beedrill. Then we have 4 Spinnerax, 4 Sizer V. We only have 2 VMAXs because I don't have a super fulfilled collection. Then we'll run the 4 Mustards. We'll run 4 Melanie. We can probably dump the Stormy Mountains unless there's like any good like basic dragon or lightning types that we could add that would, you know, be like consistency. There probably won't be, but I don't know. It's worth a look, right? There's no reason. No, I don't want to discard my changes. Yeah, there's no reason not to check. Attack the wound. If your opponent's active Pokemon already has any damage counters on it, it does 50 more damage. That's not super worth it. It's also lightning attack cost, which means we'd have to switch up our energy line, right, which will already be spread out probably between grass and metal, right, which isn't awesome. Pincurchin is already on the list. We can't do that. Rotom is on the support Pokemon list, so we can't add that. Also, right, the Rotom wouldn't be super good because its ability only works when you put it from your hand onto your bench. That ability would be okay if this Pokemon has no energy attached, but it's not. Yamper isn't on any of the it isn't on the support Pokemon list, but it also has the hand ability, so it's not super useful for our purposes. Fighting Lightning, no, that's not great. None of this is great, so we're probably just gonna end up cutting the Stormy Mountains, and we're just gonna have to work with this as our draw and this is our draw and Pokemon search line. Thank you, Makit or something for the follow. Appreciate it. But yeah, this is gonna be pretty awful. I'm thinking maybe we go. We also have to run water because the Melanie is only water focused. Maybe there's an ability that we could add that would help us discard cards, right? Give us some synergy there, right? And then we could go discard hand. Let's filter this out. Rayquaza, obviously we can't do because that's too good. Let's see. We could probably add. We could consider adding Galarian Meowth. Also Berserker. Let me check the wheel real quick. Here, I'll make sure you guys can see it. Let's check the wheel real quick. Is Galarian Berserker on the wheel? Okay, Galarian Berserker's on the wheel. We can't add Galarian Berserker. That would have been kind of interesting, though, because we could have done that. Yeah, we could have done that and had some discard synergy. And then we also could have done more damage with our Sizers, but, you know, it's not the end of the world. We'll still get out the discard synergy. So that we can run Melanie a little bit more efficiently, hopefully. We also don't have any Pokemon search, so it might not be super useful. Maybe we'll up that count to 2. We just have Mustard. Yeah, but the discard synergy will also be good for Mustard. So maybe we want to go 4. Maybe we want to go 4 Meowths, and then once you have, right, like having too many of them isn't that big of a problem because once you have them, you can just discard them. Maybe is the idea. Maybe I don't know. Let's see if there's any good stadiums. We can check for tools as well. Make sure we have this filtered to standard. We could go Crystal Cave, right? Crystal Cave would help us heal off our Sizers if we're going to go for a healing route. We might not want to go for a healing route. Path to the Peak would also be kind of good because we don't have any abilities that we're relying on. That seems pretty good. Stormy Mountains is straight dog water. Tower of Darkness isn't on any of the lists, so maybe we could run Tower of Darkness if we found other single strike. If there are other useful single strike cards, we could run 4 Tower of Darkness. But if not, I don't know. Scroll of Scorn, that's pretty bad. We don't have fighting energy. I think probably we don't have a good enough synergy for that to work. So we'll just unclick single strike real quick. I think we'll probably just end up running Path to the Peak. Path to the Peak just seems good. So we'll go 3-4. We could... Turf Field isn't super useful because we're going to want to be searching out our Beedrills with the Mustard anyway. Let's check out tools. We'll probably use some air balloons and stuff. Maybe Big Charm, right? Big Charm if we're going for like a tanky bulk route. I don't really know what we're going for here. It's kind of hard to tell. It's kind of just we'll do 1 air balloon. No, I don't have that as a wanted card. We'll do 1 air balloon. We'll just keep Big Charm on there just in case. Maybe it fixes some math for us. None of the rest of this is super good. Hero's Medal could be kind of interesting because it would make our Sizer VMAX 220 HP with only worth 2 HP. That's not worth it at all. That's not good enough. Yeah. This just seems bad. Tool Jammer, we'll probably just run Tool the Tool Scrapper instead, right? Because that's just straight up better. Yeah, we have to restart all the way at the back now, but that's my fault. Battle VIP Pass we can't add because we already have Pokemon Search, or it's on the Pokemon Search wheel. Same thing, obviously, with Cramomatic. Echoing Horn wouldn't be super useful. Echoing Horn might be kind of useful, but it won't, like, we can't target things with Beedrill unless they already have an attachment to them, so there's, like, action required by our opponent. Escape Rope has been doing us really, really nice, right, in these challenges because we don't have Boss right away, right? There's a spin on the buff wheel that helps us get Boss if we want, but right, you're not guaranteed that, obviously. So I don't know. I think I would feel kind of scummy adding Metal Saucer because Metal Saucer is probably too good. Here we also don't need Ordinary Rad. Who the hell am I kidding? Pal Pad for sure because we're only running 4 draw supporters, right? That's going to be pretty useful. Also Pokegear, yeah. Also Pokegear for sure. Also maybe Catcher. And maybe we just have like a super targeting deck and we just try and get like knockouts with the Beedrill. Alright, so this is kind of looking like enough. We don't need Tool Scrapper. Right, so maybe we go water. Maybe we go like 5 water. 4 Aurora and then like 2 metal. Or something like that. And then we have Melanie Synergy. We have enough metal. We don't really need coding because there's not really a reason not to, but I don't know. I feel like we don't want unnecessary special energies. Yeah. Yeah, this is fine. We'll do this. Yeah, this is gonna be everything is gonna turn out well here with this one. Alright. We'll cut the big charm, we'll add another metal energy. Put our minds at ease. The name obviously is gonna stay at death, but I'm gonna make it 0 death so that it shows up at the front of our queue. Yes. Alright. Okay, then let's hop into our first game of this challenge. On the standard ladder, we'll see what we can do with our Sizer Ariados Melanie deck with Beedrill Spice. Right? It's not feeling great, but remember if we lose this, we get to spin the buff wheel, right? So we'll have, a better deck or something. You can't see my screen. That's my fault. Let's go Galarian Meowth. That's a pretty bad start, but we do have Air Balloon, we do have Path to the Peak, and we do have one of our pseudo metal energies. Obviously, that's pretty good. We don't have anything to attach it to, and we'll also not have anything to attach it to for the foreseeable future, so that's not great. I don't know what Hisuian Decidueye does, but I'm assuming it's probably pretty good. Gossifleur probably isn't standing alone. This probably has some kind of Eldegoss line, right? So maybe energy is important to the strategy for this deck. I don't know. This guy doesn't look too menacing by himself, so I'm assuming the strategy of the deck comes down to the VMAX, but I can't be certain. We'll drop the Path to the Peak, hopefully get some value off of that. We'll discard the Ariados. Then we'll just hold on to the Air Balloon because I think the value of getting the Meowth out of the active isn't worth like we could get the Meowth out of the active, but putting the Sizer in the active wouldn't be awesome for us. And we have 4 Meowths, so it's not too big of a deal. There's the Eldegoss, like I was talking about. It's got a retreat cost of 1, so he's not. He also has Moltres, but I don't know. Moltres is probably really good against us. He also has a Bidoof line, so he's running Bibarel. Yeah, Moltres isn't super useful for us, it feels like, because we don't run... I don't know, I guess our whole thing is we have a VMAX that does a little bit, so maybe we should be a little bit more scared than we are. Hopefully we see a Decidueye VMAX, not because we want to lose, but because we'd like to get a little bit more intel into what his deck is supposed to be doing. But as far as we know, he's got Eldegoss for Energy Search, he's got Bibarel for... draw, and it looks like he's dead drawing, so that's pretty good for us. We can get a hack off, which I don't know, that might be okay. We could just swing for 30 and leave Sizer in the active. That doesn't seem like a trade-off we want to take. He also quickballed for a Bidoof instead of a Crobat, so maybe that means he has a Bibarel in his hand. If he doesn't have a Bibarel in his hand and he doesn't drop it this turn, then I think that indicates to us that he just isn't playing Crobat, which is a good piece of intel. Of course, there's the Evolution Incense, so okay, but he didn't go for the Bibarel, right? So I think that still tells us the same thing, unless he has another way Okay, sure, research. Yeah, that's fine. You may discard up to 3 energy cards from your hand. This attack does 30 more damage for each card you discard in this way. Once during your turn, you can draw up to 8 cards. Sure. Cool. 270 HP. Um, it's not looking great for us. Yeah, he's got just synergies to get the energy a little bit better. But he's not attacking yet, so that's kind of cool. We could go hard scissors, take a knockout, leave ourselves vulnerable for 220. Assuming, of course, that he doesn't have like the muscle band thing that does 20 more damage or 30 more damage to VMAX Pokemon. I think we kind of need the draw of a prize card, right? Like if we get a prize card off the draw, that could be really good. It doesn't seem like he'd be playing special energy in this deck, so I think it's probably fair to discard the Beedrill over the Ariados because the Ariados might provide a little bit more value to us. So we'll go ahead, we'll retreat, we'll go into the Sizer, we'll do hard scissors, we'll take 30 less, and we'll get our prize card, which, you know, might just be what we need to get going or something. Okay, that's not really it. That's not really it. We can drop that on our bench. I don't know, man. This isn't looking good. On the plus side, he doesn't get much value off these Bibarels because his hand is too big. On the downside, if he has a big hand, he's probably got cards that he can play, like a Quick Ball, like an Evolution Incense that he discarded, which means he has better stuff in his hand. So, yeah, my point is rendered moot. He also gets out another Eldegoss, which will help him to stream his attacks a little bit better. Well, he doesn't get out the Eldegoss yet, but you know what I mean. He probably, if he hits for 130 here, right, without discarding the energy. Okay, no, he just discarded 2, so he's firmly in 2-hit KO range. Okay, looking at the math on this, if we hit for 190, and then we get like a Miracle Hand next turn where we get a Melanie into a Metal Energy, we could get 90 off of, and also the Sizer VMAX. Which, I mean, we could get because we like just need a Familiar Bell if this guy goes down. Right, if we hit for 190 this turn, then we get an energy into the discard pile for future Melanie, which gives us access to draw. And then we also put this guy within range of a 2-hit KO, assuming, of course, that he doesn't run, you know, healing or, like, assuming he doesn't pivot into another attacker or something like that. So we'll see. There's an Air Balloon. He's just going to use the Bibarel as a pivot, which, you know, that's fine by me. Industrious Incisors. So we, Incisors, by the way. We'll see if he gets out the Eldegoss. If he gets, it doesn't really matter. He just hits the knockout either way, but he might want to go Eldegoss so that he can get some thinning while he has the chance. We'll go ahead and we'll promote the Meowth. He can't go Star of Fortune because we've stuck him with the Path so far. He's more than halfway through his deck, so I think it's probably pretty unlikely that he plays. There's a Heads. Yeah, let's get you. Let's go. Hopefully this can buy us some time while we look for one of our 8 draw cards in our deck. We also wouldn't be able to use Mustard right now because we don't have we don't have a second card to discard with the Evolution Roar, right? So we wouldn't be able to get our hand down to 0 to use the Mustard. And there's just a double turbo, which means he's going to be able to take another knockout, which means, yeah, we're kind of in the doghouse here. He also can hit for 250 next turn, so Escape Rope. All right, we're going to have to concede this one because he just wins on the next turn. And that's okay. That's fine. We'll just spin the buff wheel. We'll make our deck a little bit better, hopefully. All right. This is the buff wheel. Let's see what we get. Any of these would be positives, but I don't know. Maybe we're hoping for Energy Acceleration. Energy Acceleration is great. Energy Acceleration is super good because we can go ahead and use that synergy we were talking about with Metal Saucer. So this is any 8 cards that help us to get energy into play. So we could consider cutting Melanie. We could like drop the Melanie line, make this all metal energy, and then go Metal Saucer Bronzong or something to that effect. That would be probably okay. Let's see if there's... We also could do like Turbo Patch or something. We also can't look up energy acceleration in the search bar because that's not the text that anything uses. I don't know. Let's see. Yeah, we're definitely going to want Metal Saucer for sure, because it's too good of a card not to add. Maybe if there was some form of draw that we could use to replace the Melanie, we might. I think we kind of have to keep the Melanie because it's our only source of draw in the entirety of the deck. But it's so bad. It's so bad. I don't know, man. we kind of got unlucky in that last game there where we didn't get access to any Melanie throughout the whole thing, right? And that might not be indicative of what we might potentially get in the future. So there's 4 Metal Saucer. We could do Turbo Patch, we could do more Metal Saucer, or we could do Bronzong, and I feel like Bronzong might be the way to go. We, of course, would only be able to do a 2-2 line because we've already used 4 of our copies on the Metal Saucer, but I don't know. Let's run it. Let's run it with Bronzong. We'll do a 2-2 line. Which of these are better? Probably this one. I don't know. I feel like the 1 energy attack cost. They're both bad. They're both bad. We can all freely say that. We'll dump the Melanie, which might end up being an awful, egregious mistake. But on the other hand, it might just, save us the game. We need more metal energy, which means we need to dump other stuff out of our deck, which probably means Meowth goes down a little bit. We also can't have 4 Bronzor, of course, because that wouldn't make sense. We also could cut the Beedrill. We could cut the Beedrill. We could consider that. But that's all of our draw down the toilet, and I don't think I have the cojones to do that. So let's just thin out this Ariados line a little bit. We'll make it 3-3. We'll keep the Meowth. We'll keep the Beedrill. And we'll see how this deck performs. Which, I think we probably know how this deck will perform. But, I don't know. Maybe we can make something happen here. Let's go ahead, hop back onto the standard ladder, and try and get our dub. If we don't get it here, our back's against the wall, and we have to win the last one. Otherwise, otherwise we're screwed. Tails never fails. We're gonna go first. See if we can get out an attachment to start out the game, or mulligan. That's fine too. I would have been okay with this hand because we would have had. I actually wouldn't have been okay with this hand because we wouldn't have had a way to get all of our cards out of it. But like hypothetically, Pokegear is definitely a card that we want in our starting hand. There it is. That's a Pokegear starting hand. We don't have a way to get the Bronzor out, which means if we get a Mustard, we won't even be able to use it, which sucks. We also can't do anything about this Ariados either, so that's also pretty unpog. Looks like we're going up against Duraludon. He doesn't take energy from special. He doesn't take damage from special energy, but I think they might run Aurora. Right, if they run Aurora, we'll be kind of happy because I think the Beedrill doesn't do damage. It just hits for an effect, which is pretty good. But we'll, of course, have to see whether or not that's the case. Biting Energy makes me a little bit less confident that he's running Special Energy. Also, Arceus makes me a little bit less confident that he's running Special Energy. But whatever. I'm not salty. This is fine. Everything's going to be okay. There's a double turbo on the Arceus. And the switch, which means he's going to get the turn 1 Trinity charge, which means we have practically no chance of winning. Tower of Darkness is kind of good, because Tower of Darkness means off the Pokegear, if we find a single strike mustard, we can just discard it and get the 2 draw if we don't have a way to get our hand down to 0 for the effect of single strike mustard, right? Which is pretty good. That's better than we otherwise would have had. We also can probably stick him pretty well with Path to the Peak. Path to the Peak against this deck would probably be pretty effective. You will, of course, power up his Duraludon, which isn't great for us. There's an Aurora Energy. That doesn't mean we can get our hand down to 0, unfortunately. We'll go Pokegear. We'll see what we get if we get a Mustard. There's a Mustard. Yeah, so we can go Ariados, Catcher, Aurora away, one of these 2 evolutions, but we won't ever have a way to get out the second one unless we find a Meowth somehow. But so I guess we'll just, we had to use the Tower of Darkness there. Aurora, we have to hold on to this Mustard, I think. And we could go Catcher up the Duraludon. Catcher up the Duraludon seems like a good option. Gmax Pulverization only does 220. It knocks us out. So that's bad, but we can hack off and do 0 damage while also discarding 0 Pokemon Tool or Special Energy from our opponent's Pokemon. So, these are all good things. We can double Ariados if he evolves or something. And if he knocks us out, I think we just lose. Why does he run Single Strike Mustard? Is Duraludon VMAX a Single Strike card? I don't think it is. He's going to Pokegear. He's probably going to find... He's looking for Research Marnie or something that's a little bit more ubiquitous draw than the Single Strike Mustard, because if he couldn't get his hand down to use the Single Strike Mustard before, he probably wouldn't have done the Tower of Darkness. So I think we're hoping that he doesn't find anything that's less conditional off of the Pokegear. Right? If he does, then he'll probably be able to draw out of this bad hand. Avery isn't too scary because we don't have... bench Pokemon out the wazoo, so he's just going to get draw 3 off of this, and we just hope that it's not a Duraludon. If it's a Duraludon, we kind of just lose because, so that's cool. Prevent all damage done to this Pokemon by attacks from your opponent's Pokemon that have any special energy attached. So our last recourse is that we could, but we can't even get a knockout with the Beedrill because he doesn't have a special energy on him. So... yeah, I'm calling this one how I see it. I think this is going to be a pretty big L. We can Ariados stall with nothing because he's got another great attacker. So I think we'll just have to concede this one. And our back is now against the wall. We're going to have to try and run the freaking gauntlet with 2 more spins of the buff wheel. And this is our last chance to get a win on the standard ladder. We'll see what we get. Respin twice. Okay, so that's like the jackpot. That means we just get to spin it 2 more times. And if we... yeah, that's like kind of an infinite money glitch if we just keep getting that. So we get to spin it thrice now. Add 4 supporters is incredible. 4 supporters is so good. That means we can add boss. That means we can add research. We can add a bunch of raw draw power, which is something we've really wanted. Add more energy acceleration means we can get rid of we can dump the Beedrill line for sure now, and we can go heavy into the Bronzong, right? And we could probably add 4 hollow rares. So I think my thinking for that was I could add, I don't know, like a Crobat or something. I'm not super sure. Let's go ahead. We'll check out the deck manager. Okay, so we have 8 pieces of energy acceleration. and 4 supporters and 4 hollow rares. So I think we start by dumping the single strikes, which means we have no draw, but it also means we're not, super as clunky as we were before. We'll use, excuse me, no, don't add me to the deck. We'll use 4 of our slots for energy acceleration on Bronzong, and then we'll consider Cheryl, right? And Cheryl can count for our energy acceleration spots, and that uses up all 8 of them. So we have 4 more supporters that we can add. We have 4 hollow rares. So we'll check. I don't know. Maybe there are some hollow rares we can add. That would be good. Like Crobat or something. But there's also a solid chance that that's not super useful. We could add Corviknight. We could add a 1/1 Corviknight line, or like a 2/2 Corviknight line, and get a little bit more value. I think that would be that would probably be pretty good. Get a little bit more variety in our attackers. We could also consider adding Crobat, just for a little bit more draw power off of. What kind of Pokemon search do we have, Alex? None, say I. This goes to all Pokemon, so we don't just need Metal. Which means we could try and work in Dubwool just as like a comeback card. None of this really appeals to me. Probably we don't want Dubwool. Berserker, however, is a hollow rare. But we already we didn't dump the Meowth. We'll probably just dump the Meowth. We don't need Meowth. Meowth is probably just too slow. And we don't have any way to search it out, so it's not like super efficient in our deck. Jirachi might be kind of a good card to add, just consistency. We could consider that. We have 2 more additions. Oh, we don't have 2 more additions. We have 1 more addition. Metagross we could also consider. Probably not Metagross. Mew we could consider. Who would Mew help us get? Metal Saucer, Pokegear. All of these are pretty good. We could make a pivot towards like a Mew based engine, which would probably be pretty good. We could dump the Crobat, and go Mew, 2 Mew, a bunch of freaking Air Balloon and stuff, and that would probably be pretty good. Zacian also is pretty good. We could add one of those, 1 Zamazenta. I think that's probably better, right? That's probably better than the Mew. Is just one of these. Although VMAX isn't as prevalent right now as it was in the heyday of these guys. So maybe, it's not insane. And we don't really want to rework our whole deck around Mew, right? So this might be a little bit better. Which one is better of the 2? I think Corviknight is really cool, but we could try dumping the Corviknight. I think 1 Crobat probably isn't good enough either. So then we'll do 1 of these, and we'll do 1 of these, not 2 of these. And then I think we'll use that for our hollow rares. We'll check trainers over here. We'll see if there are any good trainers that we could use for hollow rare. Maybe we just have to use it on our supporters. I think maybe we just have to use it on our supporters. I say we dump the Corviknight line. Go 2/2 in Pokemon trainers for the. We could add Quick Ball. We could add a Quick Ball, of course. We could also add a Research. We could also add Boss. I think Boss is pretty good. And then we have 4 supporters we can add. So maybe we go 2 Boss and 3 Research or something like that. Then we have 68 cards in our deck. And then I think we've used up all of our spots, so we just have to like trim down a little bit. Path to the Peak is still pretty useful. Maybe we don't need any of the Ariados line anymore. That's overstayed its welcome, and now we're just running worse Corviknight. Now we're just running worse, like Corviknight, but with a worse VMAX. So we'll dump that. We'll dump maybe 1 Path, and we don't need the Aurora energy at all now, and we'll just go up to like 11 metals, I guess. Right, then we'll just run it with this deck. We'll see how it goes. If we lose the challenge, but if not, I think we gave it our best shot. Let's see how we do. Game face, baby. Call the flip, tails never fails. Redacted. All right, Bronzor, Sizor. I think we'd probably prefer. We have a quick ball. This is an insane hand. This is an incredible hand. I think, yeah, we start with the Sizer, right? We start with the Sizer because we can go quick ball away, research, pal pad the research back in, go research, and then we can just get out another Sizer. And we'd just straight up rather have a 210 HP Pokemon that isn't a support Pokemon than a 60 HP Pokemon. I'm realizing now that we probably only added one Cheryl, and we might have added one too many supporters because I think I forgot that I added Cheryl to this deck, but that's fire art, so who's really cheating here? This looks like some kind of stall archetype, which we should be able to match up probably pretty well into because we have the ability to move around energy, and it's not like ability that can be blocked unless he's running Empoleon for some reason. Right, because you can't block it with Path to the Peak because it's not on a V. So I think this sounds pretty good. We'll go Quick Ball. We'll just dump the Pokegears when we go research because we don't want... Zacian seems good. Zacian seems good for if we don't get an attack off here. I think that's a little bit preferable to another Sizer. So we'll put that back in. We'll go research. This almost looks like a real deck. This thing almost looks like a real deck. That's kind of crazy. All right, so we'll go attach here. We'll go Intrepid Sword. And then we obviously also have Metal Saucer to, what was I going to say? We have Metal Saucer. Yeah, so like if it's stall, we probably match up pretty well into it because we have Metal Saucer as a way of getting back energy. He probably doesn't have like energy or like resource recycling because Excadrill is out of the format. But he's probably, yeah, he's running some variant here with the Zoroark as like the caveat, as like the big honcho. There's an Ultra Ball. So we'll probably see discards of maybe some stage ones if he has them in his hand so that he can get them out via Zoroark. But we'll see. No. He dumps another Ultra Ball in his Zoroark, which means that indicates to me that he probably has a research or something in his hand that he had draw that he wanted. So probably maybe go Oranguru, stack his top deck, and then research or something. Word Year. Okay, that's not too scary. It's just draw an extra card, and then it does 120 damage. That's not awesome. That's not too scary. It is cool art though. It is a cool promo. And a Bruno. Okay, so he's only getting 4. Less good than like a Research or a Marnie or something for sure. Familiar Bell doesn't get us anything because we don't have anything in the discard. We drop another Sizor here probably, and then we probably just go hold on to the catcher, hold on to everything else. There's no reason to research, right? We're not being hurried by anything. We just use our attachments. We go Zacian because the 30 damage that we get here isn't worth, the 3 cards that we get to draw. So the Zora isn't like, he discarded a Zoroark, which means he's not like, he's having a bit of a slow start. He also didn't make do last turn, I think. Electrode. It's 120 damage. Call me crazy, but this might just be like a bad deck. And he might, I don't know, maybe he's running like some kind of energy acceleration thing that he's hoping for. And he's doing like hand control with the Chinchino, so the Word Year kind of fits in because you can manipulate his hand size pretty easily. But I'm not incredibly scared here. I think it's pretty unlikely that if we ever get a VMAX up and running that he'll be able to get through it. And obviously, the Bronzong with the Metal Transfer is going to be super useful if he ever pulls out any kind of stall tactics. So, yeah, I mean, we'll just see how this goes. This is now a 45-minute recording, which is kind of insane. But I don't know. Maybe it's all worth it because maybe I win this game, perchance, or something like that. This is probably going to take up like 3 gigabytes on my computer. Another Ultra Ball. Doesn't scare me too much. Maybe he gets out of Zoroark finally, and he goes Zoroark into this guy, into, I don't know, 90 damage, I guess. I don't know. He also tossed a boss, which seems good. Yeah, this seems fine. This seems totally fine. There's a Gormandized Snorlax, so I don't know. Maybe if he drops it, maybe, yeah, he's just dead drawing, I think. Yeah, he needs the cards, but we're gonna get probably a knockout on him next turn because we'll go attach. We could go catcher as well, but maybe it would behoove us a little bit more to just take out the Snorlax, cut off his access to draw. Of course, if we get a heads, we could get his Chinchino, whose marginal like utility might be a little bit higher. I don't know. I don't know what's good here. I think probably conserving the catchers isn't too bad, and the Snorlax is like a good enough target that we feel good about hitting into it. So we'll take our prize. There's an energy. Yeah, if we just keep attaching energies and we just flood the field with enough that he can't like get rid of it via any shenanigans, I think we're in a good spot. I don't know what the hell he's trying to do. I'm not entirely sure. I think we probably did. There's a Golisopod. Golisopod might be good. So it's good that we haven't been dropping. I haven't been dropping these two because I don't want them to become targets if he tries any kind of like stall, like, yeah, you know, like I've been saying, stall tactics. What does this guy do? Route. 30 more damage for each of your opponent's bench Pokemon, so that's going to do 150 if we fill up our bench. Mawile GX is no longer in the format though, so that should be entirely within our control. Then I'm thinking if he doesn't evolve the Zorua this turn, we'll probably want to target the Chinchino. Maybe the Oranguru, probably the Chinchino for sure. Just because, you know, it's a better target than hitting into a Zorua that he has 4 of. I mean, of course, 3 of, but whatever. You got it. Yeah, this seems good. So we'll just take our knockout. We'll keep rolling. We'll take our prize cards. Yeah, and we'll see if he can scrap together any attacks. I think this is looking really good so far. We'll see if he gets any counterplay going. The only downside to not dropping the Scizor is we aren't going to be able to get off VMAX right on the subsequent turn if he out of nowhere gets an OHKO on our Scizor V. Maybe as a fire attacker. No, he has no fire attacker. He's just going to concede. We win. We get the challenge done on the last game of the challenge. It was kind of sketchy, and we probably got bailed a lot by having a bad opponent, but you know, a win's a win.